In all the endpoints we have implemented so far, we return JSON objects in the response. Sometimes, however, you need to return HTML markup to the client, and that's where you use a templating engine. There are various templating engines available for Express applications. The most popular ones are Pug, which used to be called Jade. You also have Mustache and EJS. Each templating engine has a different syntax for generating dynamic HTML and returning it to the client. So in this demo, I'm going to show you how to use Pug to generate a dynamic HTML and return it to the client. So first, let's install Pug. Beautiful. Now, back in our index module, we need to set the view engine for the application. So we call app.set. The name of the property we need to set is view space engine. And the name of our view engine or templating engine is Pug. So when we set this, Express will internally load this module. So we don't have to require it, okay? Now there is another setting that is not compulsory, it's optional, only if you want to override the path to your templates. So app.set, the name of the property is views, and the value is the path to where we store the templates. So the default value is /views. That means you should put all your views or all your templates inside a folder called views, which should be in the root of the application, right? Again, this is an optional setting. That's the default value, so we don't have to set that. Now, let's add a new folder here. Views. Inside this folder, let's add a new file. We can call it index.pug. With Pug, we can define our template using a syntax like this. So we can have an HTML element. Then inside that, we can have head. Then we can have the title element. And we can set a value for this dynamically using the syntax. So we add an equal sign and then the name of a variable that we will set at runtime. I will show you how that works later. Now, in parallel to head, we want to have another element called body. And inside that, we want to have an h1. And we want to set the value for this dynamically using a variable called message. So you see Pug has a cleaner syntax than regular HTML. We don't have those opening and closing elements. Of course, some people love it, some people hate it. But that aside, let's see how we can convert this to regular HTML and return it to the client. So back in our index module, earlier we defined a route for the root of the application. So here we send a simple message to the client. Hello world, right? Now we want to replace this with an HTML markup and return it to the client. So instead of the send method, we use render. So response.render. Now as the first argument, we specify the name of our view. In that case, index, because the name of our file is index.pug. As the second argument, we pass an object, and this object includes all the values for the parameters that we have defined in our template, like title and message. So here I'm going to set two properties, title, my Express app, and message, hello. That's all we have to do. So now let's start the application again and head over to localhost port 3000. Look, we get HTML markup. We can verify that by looking at the source of this page. What you see here is our Pug template converted to standard HTML. So we have HTML, head, title. This value is inserted dynamically at runtime. And then next to that, we have body. And inside this, we have this h1 element. So if you want to return HTML markup to the client, you use a view engine. Again, there are various view engines available like Pug, EJS, Mustache, and so on. But when you're building RESTful services for the backend of your client applications, you don't really need a view engine or a templating engine. I just covered this topic because I wanted my Node course to be comprehensive. Next, I'm going to talk about database integration.